Hey, welcome to the morning walk. My name is Keegan York, and this is one of my first video podcasts in a while. And I'm really excited about what I have for you today. Today is going to be about vision. And if you listen to episode 26 of my podcast, you know that we're starting a little mini series. It's going to be three parts, and it's going to be all about this idea of vision, mission, and purpose, what these things are and why they're so crucial to your life. And I really do think that these three things can set your life up for structure and really to achieving what you want to achieve in life. Now, we start out with vision. What is vision? Well, I believe vision is this clear picture of a future that you want, a desired future that you might want. It's this idea or this picture in your head, or you see someone else having that life and you say, that's what I want for my life. It's a clear picture of a desired future for what you want in your life. Now, Simon Sinek, if you haven't heard any of his stuff or read any of his stuff, I encourage you to go do so because he's a wonderful speaker and just overall guy. It seems like he presents himself that way. And Simon Sinek says that vision is a just cause. And he says it's a just cause because it has to be something righteous. It can't just be a goal like I have a vision to make $1 million or I have a vision to build my dream house. Those are goals. But a vision is how is my life going to be? What is the makeup of who I am going to be, who my family is going to be? What is that going to look like in the future? And how do I develop a clear picture of that so I know what I'm aiming towards? And I think vision is something good to start out with. And I start out with vision in all of my coaching programs because vision is so important to develop because it helps us see what is possible. It gives us a motivating factor to then achieve our goals along the way. And I think you can have many visions. I think you can have a few missions. I really think you can only have one purpose in life. I really do. I think you can have several missions in life. But then I think that visions, you can have a lot of different visions. You can have a vision for yourself, a vision for your job, a vision for your family, a vision for your friends, a vision for the place that you live or the things that you do for fun. You can have a vision for a lot of different things. And that's so important to understand, especially when developing the idea of what do I want to do with my life? That's a question that we ask a lot, especially if you've gone through these different existential stages of your life. And I think every single person does. What do I want to do with my life? And if we think about purpose, our purpose is our why. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we here on earth? Why am I here? Our mission is the what. What are we doing to live out our purpose? What is the vocation? What is the role that I am doing to live out that purpose? Then our vision is where? Where are we going? Where do I want to be? And so when we think about it in that why, what, and where scenario, I like to start with where. Because when I know my where, when I know my what I'm looking at is where I want to be, where I'm focusing my attention, it allows me to zero in my attention on that focus and say, here are the things I need to do to get there. One thing I really like to do with my coaching clients is I do a 1 year vision, a 5 year vision, and a 10 year vision. And the reason I do that is because so often we can think about our 1 year visions or maybe a 6 month vision, or we get this tunnel vision to where we can only see to the end of the week or to tomorrow. And developing a 1 year, a 5 year, and a 10 year vision allows us to really expand out our life and understand that the decisions we make now also have a huge impact on who we're going to be and where we're going to be in 5, 10 years. And so the 1 year vision typically revolves around this idea of I want to get out of something. In almost every single one of my coaching clients, it's revolved around there's an area of my life that is isolated. And in 1 year, I want to be more in connection as opposed to isolation. I want to be away from the pain and the hurt, and I want to be in the healing and the growth. That's been a common theme around the 1 year vision. The 5 year vision oftentimes has revolved around stability through change. So when I go through change, whether that's in the third year, the fourth year, the fifth year, whatever it is, by year five, I want to be stable. And it's not like I might go crazy or whatnot, but the growth I see in my 1 year vision in 5 years, I want to make sure I still have that. And a big theme within the 5 year vision is the stability through life change. Because oftentimes my clients have said, I want to move states, or I want to have a different job, or I want to be married, or I want to have kids, whatever those things are within the 5 years. There's been this theme where I want to make sure I don't regress. And then the 10 year vision has always been taking that idea of stability and being connected to then transferring that to being a giver, where I've learned information over the last 10 years. I've gained a lot of knowledge, I've gained a lot of experience, and now I want to give that, whether that's to my kids, to other people, creating a business to give that to. That's a very common theme throughout the 10 year vision. And so, an exercise I like to do, which I'll talk even more about it later, is sitting down and giving myself 15 to 20 minutes and thinking about what is my 1 year vision? Where do I want to be in 1 year? And being very clear about it. Not saying, I could be here, I wish I was there. No, saying like, I will be here. This is where I want to be. And then in 5 years, where do I want to be in 5 years with my 1 year vision in mind? And in the 10th year, where do I want to be in my 10th year, given my 5th year and my 1st year vision? And so when we are allowed to do this, and when we are able to develop this develop this idea of, I actually am writing the story of my life with destinations in mind. And I think starting with the destinations are so important because they allow us to see exactly where we want to go. And it gives us a mile marker to say, am I actually going in the right direction? Because honestly, when I think about it, I cannot change that which I'm not aware of. I say that all the time. We can't change anything that we're not aware of. And so when I don't know where I'm going, how can I change my course to make sure I'm going in the right direction? That's why compasses were invented and they're so important. That's why GPSs were invented and so important, or maps, or whatever the directional system that was used at the time. That's why these were invented, because they allow us to understand where the destination is we're going and how to get there. And the how in getting there can look a lot of different ways, but the destination is always the same. So when we have this clear picture of where we want to go, when we have this vision, it allows us to then step back into, okay, but what do I want to do to get to that? Why do I even want to get there? And why am I living on this earth? What is my purpose? What is my mission? What is my vision? And vision seems to be the ending almost. And one of my coaching clients posed the question of, okay, well, what happens if I hit my vision? Well, if you're doing this exercise enough, you'll never actually hit your vision because you'll always be thinking, okay, what is my vision this next year? Okay, what is it in 5 years? What is it in 10 years? There's always going to be growth minded goals being set. There's always going to be vision being casted out further and further because we know that we are incomplete humans, will always be incomplete. But if we're growing, we know that we can get better and be better and then share the experience and the knowledge we have with other people. So we're always striving for change and growth. Matthew McConaughey, in one of his acceptance speeches for, I think it was an Academy Award, maybe an Oscar, he said that the person he looks like up to, or the person he wants to be most like, is his 10-year self, the person who's 10 years away. And he always says, the reason why I think of myself 10 years in the future as the person I want to chase is because I'll never catch it. And I know that if I continue to have that person in mind, I'll always be thinking about, how can I be better? Who do I want that person to be? And what steps do I need to take right now to achieve being that person right now? You see, vision isn't this thing that we set up as a destination of where we want to be and then leave it there. Vision is a thing that we set up as a destination and we begin to make reality today. We do that through our purpose and our mission. But our vision is never something that stays in the future. If our vision stays in the future, then it's not actually a vision at all. It's just a hopeful dream. A vision is something that we can apply today and make and realize throughout our entire life. And I love that depiction that Matthew McConaughey puts because no matter what, as long as we have our vision in front of us, a vision of being better, of growing, of changing, of being a human that desires development, as long as we have that, then we have the ability to get better today. Because when I think about who I want to be then, I then have to think about, well, what do I need to do now to become that person? And a part of that exercise of the 1, 5, 10-year vision is I then pose the question to my clients. I say, now that you have a 10-year vision of your life, how do we achieve that 10th year in 1 year? And some of the things in that vision are obviously goals. Like I want to have a goal to have a family, or I want to have a goal to have a child, or I want to have a goal to have a really good job or to move places. Those are really great goals. But I like to break it down into the isolation to connection realm, the stability realm, and the connection to giver realm because it provides that undertone of what we actually want. And so, how do we go from isolation to connection to stability to giving in 1 year as opposed to 10 years? And when we start to think about that way, it heightens our capabilities. It allows us to think even more openly about what our options are. It allows us to see opportunity in a different light when we think about how do I actually create my 10-year vision in 1 year? There's a thought exercise in the business world where they do like, okay, where's your 1 year goal, 2 year goal, 3 year goal? Now, how do you realize your 3 year goal in 6 months? It makes you think a lot differently about what you have to do and the time you have to do it in. And I think if we can continue casting out visions that are 10 years ahead, but we can achieve them in 1 year, imagine the life that you're going to have in 10 years. Actually, it's going to be an amazing life. So if you do this exercise, which that's kind of the homework for today, is encouraging you to do those exercises of how do I actually develop a 1 year, a 5 year, and a 10-year vision. And when you do that, and then you start to think about, okay, well, how can I realize the 10-year vision in 1 year? It changes the whole way you view your life. Oftentimes, I've found the 1 year visions really just take one decision. It's I don't want to be in the job I want. That's a 1 year vision. I want to be out of the job. Or I want to be dating someone. Or I want to have kids. Or some of those have some nuances to it. Obviously, not all in your control. But the idea is you can quit your job tomorrow. Maybe finances are holding you back. Maybe fear of what other people think are holding you back. In reality, if it is the social aspect of it, think about why are those people holding you back? Why do those people have power over you and over your life vision? Think about it. Because ultimately, those people are going to be dead at some point, and you're going to be dead at some point. And I would hate for you to get to the end of your life and think, I allowed someone else who actually didn't care about me dictate my life or dictate the decisions that I made and how fast I made them. If it's financially, find a side hustle or find a way to make more money so you can get out of that job so you can then begin to do what you want to do. Because it's so important to live this life how you want to live it. And again, there's we could go into a whole episode about just that statement I said right there. But if you feel like you're stuck in a place that isn't fulfilling you, find somewhere that can fulfill you. But first, create a clear picture of where you want to be. That way, when you're deciding on what goals you have or what you want to do, you can actually understand here's why I'm doing it because I want to be where I want to be at this certain time in my life. And one client I had when I was counseling people and providing therapy, I kind of went through this similar exercise. And this client said, well, what happens when it's too hard to see even 2 steps in front of me? And I said, well, then make sure you take the first step. If all you can see is the first step in front of you, then take that next step. But always hold a hopeful picture of what life could be if you continue to keep stepping. I think that is a crucial piece to anything because so oftentimes we get discouraged when it doesn't feel like we're heading towards our goals as quickly as we would like. When in reality, as long as we hold hope that the picture of how we want life to be is somewhere out there, and we continue to take that next step that we can see, that hope is going to help guide us in the right direction. It's going to help provide light to where we can see the second step ahead of us, and the third, and the fourth. It's going to allow us to feel like we actually have an opportunity to achieve the thing that we want to achieve. Ultimately, time is one of humanity's greatest vulnerabilities because we don't get time back. I'll do this in more of the talk on mission, but there's an exercise I like to do called a time audit, where you literally audit your time of how you spend your time. Just like you would do a budget or an audit of expenses, you do it with your time. And I think it's even more important to do it with your time because you don't get your time back. I've lived almost 27 years of life and I don't get 26 years back. I can't buy back 26 years. I might be able to be really healthy right now and do healthy things and be able to live longer than expected, but I can't get back the time that I had. And when that starts to click in your mind, you realize this actually is not as long of a life as I thought. The day to day feels so long, and yet the years feel so short. Don't allow the fact that you don't have a life vision be the thing holding you back. Everyone has a vision for their life, whether you think so or not. Everyone has a purpose, whether you think so or not. Everyone has a mission they can live into, whether you think so or not. But it takes intentional time developing that vision, intentional time developing and really digesting your purpose, and then figuring out what is the mission field or the several missions that I need to be working in so that I can see my vision realized. What is that? Now, in the next episode, we're going to talk a lot about um, your mission and how your mission is the thing that is going to drive a lot of what you do. And then in another episode, we'll also talk about purpose and your purpose of just understanding why you're here and kind of an exercise around that. And these things are so important to do because they really drive the foundation of how you live your life. Whether you think so or not, there's a vision that you've casted for your life. There's a purpose that you've taken on for your life. And there's a mission that you've decided to do for your life. And the sad thing is, sometimes those things we've just let come to us and we haven't decided them. Whether those are labels other people have put on us, whether that's a job that we thought that we needed, that our parents told us we needed to be in, or maybe it's a vision that was casted for us by our parents or our friends that we don't actually believe, that that's not where we want to be. You have the power today to take intentional time and decide this is not the path I want to be going on. This is not the job I want to be doing or the role I want to be in. This is not my purpose. And once you're aware of the fact that you're not in control of those things, gives you the freedom to then decide, I want control and where do I want to go? So again, I would encourage you to do the 1 year, the 5 year, and the 10 year vision exercise. I think it's really good. One thing that I love to do is the 5 and the 10 year vision are a little harder for my clients to actually get through. And so what I tell them is I say, I love to ask questions about it. And if that's something that you want help on, or if you think that you just want a program that's going to help you develop that vision, mission, and purpose, and really lay out your life so that you can say, okay, I feel confident that I'm going to be on the right direction. I feel confident that what I want can be achieved. If you want help with that or you want support, head over to my website, keeganyork.com, where you can find my coaching application. You can apply there, or you can just go to keeganyork.com/mindset coaching and find it there as well. But that's been this episode of The Morning Walk. I'm hoping to really do a lot more of these video recordings, especially on this new platform I found. I'm really excited about it. But if you haven't already, follow me on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube. You can check out my Instagram, where I like to post a lot of things related to content, whether it's reels from this or other things that I've thought of that could be cool to share. But I'm Keegan York. I'm your host. You're one decision away from changing your life. I truly believe that, and I truly believe you get one life. So I encourage you to live it well and be someone who strives for being a person that they want to be. I'll see you next time.